You ever get that feeling like no matter how hard you work, you're still stuck in the same loop? You wake up, go to work, pay the bills, maybe get a small raise, and somehow you're still not ahead. It's like life's one big treadmill and the speed just keeps increasing. Now, here's the crazy part. It's not because you're lazy or not smart enough. It's because most of us were trained to follow a system that was never designed to make us free, only comfortable enough to keep running. And the habits that feel the most normal, those are the ones quietly locking you in. See, the middle class doesn't fail because of a lack of effort. It fails because of routine, habits passed down from generation to generation that sound responsible, but in reality keep you chasing the next paycheck. And once you see them for what they are, you can't unsee them. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll probably start spotting these habits all around you, maybe even in your own life, and that awareness alone can change everything. And so let's break this thing down together, because escaping the rat race isn't about working harder, it's about thinking differently. Let's start with one of the biggest traps that keeps most people running in circles: working for less than you're worth. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow or demand a raise right now. What I mean is this: most middle-class people underprice themselves for years without even realizing it. They stay in roles that pay just enough to survive, not enough to grow. They accept average pay for decent work because that's what everyone around them does. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If your effort, time, and skill are worth $10, yet you're getting paid $6, you're literally trading your potential for comfort. You're giving away the one thing you can never get back: time at a discount. The system actually rewards that kind of quiet compliance because the less you ask, the longer you stay. The longer you stay, the less you grow. And before you know it, 5 years have passed and your paycheck has barely moved while everything around you costs more. Let me give you an example. Imagine Sarah, hardworking, reliable, always first to arrive and last to leave. Everyone at her office knows she's the glue that holds things together. But here's the thing. She hasn't negotiated her salary in 5 years. She gets the standard 3% raise every year. Sounds fair, right? Except inflation is around 3 to 4%, meaning her real income hasn't grown at all. She's working harder, producing more, but earning the same in real value. That's not loyalty. That's underpayment disguised as stability. Now, contrast that with people who know their worth. They study the market, build in-demand skills, and aren't afraid to move when they outgrow a role. They understand that the company's loyalty isn't personal, it's financial. So they make sure their value matches their pay. And here's the mindset shift. You don't get paid what you deserve, you get paid what you negotiate and prove your worth. That means tracking your results, learning new skills, and positioning yourself as someone who brings more value than the next person in line. So before you start looking for new ways to make extra money, look at how you're earning the money you already make. Habit number 2, buying more than you can afford. It usually starts innocently. You get a raise, maybe a bonus, and suddenly that car you've been eyeing doesn't seem that expensive anymore. You tell yourself, I've earned this, or it's only a little extra every month. But before you know it, that little extra becomes a new normal, and your paycheck has a new owner before it even lands in your account. That's lifestyle creep, the invisible chain that keeps the middle class stuck right where they are. Every time income goes up, expenses rise to match it. Bigger house, newer phone, fancier vacations. The numbers change, but the feeling stays the same. Broke, just at a higher level. The scary part, society celebrates this behavior. You're praised for upgrading your life. Friends say, nice car, or congrats on the new house. No one sees the 7-year loan behind the smile. You're applauded for looking successful, not for being financially free. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your work. But the problem is timing. The middle class spends first and saves what's left. The wealthy save first and spend what's left. It's the same income, just a completely different order. Buying things you can't comfortably afford today means you're borrowing from your future freedom. Every EMI, every payment plan, every buy now, pay later deal, that's your future self working extra hours for past decisions. So the shift here is simple but powerful. Live like you're slightly below your means, not slightly above them. Because the small gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's where freedom grows. If you can master that gap, you can outgrow almost every financial trap out there. Habit number 3, relying on one source of income. Now I get it. Most people grow up hearing the same script, go to school, get a good job, and you'll be fine. And for a while that actually worked, but the world's changed. Jobs aren't as stable, industries shift overnight, and one company decision can wipe out your paycheck in a single meeting. The truth is, if your entire life depends on one stream of income, you don't have security, you have fragility, one layoff, one health issue, one company restructuring, and everything you've built can suddenly be at risk. Think about it like this. If you only have one leg holding up your financial table, it doesn't matter how sturdy that leg is, one shake, and the whole thing tips over. Let me give you an example. David's been at his job for 12 years, reliable, consistent, good at what he does, but one day his company merges with another and his position gets restructured. That's the polite corporate word for we don't need you anymore. Suddenly, his entire income gone. Mortgage, bills, family, all waiting to be paid. Not because David was bad at his job, but because he only had one income stream. Now let's look at someone like Maya. She also works full-time, but on the side, she's built a small Etsy store selling digital products. She's learned some basic investing, and she's renting out a small apartment she bought years ago. So when her company downsized, yeah, it hurt, but it didn't break her because she had options. That's the key word here, options. Money isn't just about comfort, it's about choices, and multiple income streams give you those choices. They give you breathing space when things go wrong and leverage when things go right. The middle class thinks multiple incomes are for the rich. The rich know that multiple incomes are why they're rich. So here's the mindset shift. Don't wait for your job to fail to build a backup. Start small. Maybe it's freelance work, a side hustle, dividend-paying stocks, or even selling something online. The amount doesn't matter at first. The pattern does. Because the moment your money starts coming from more than one direction, that's the moment you stop running the rat race and start building your own track. Habit number 4, not saving for old age. Let's be honest, when you're young, retirement feels like it's a lifetime away. You've got bills now, dreams now, expenses now. Saving for something that's 20 or 30 years in the future doesn't exactly feel urgent, but here's the scary truth. Time is the one thing you can't buy back later. Every year you delay saving, you're not just losing money, you're losing compound growth, and that's what quietly separates the comfortable from the struggling in later life. Think of it like this. If you start saving $300 a month at 25 by the time you're 60, with modest returns, you could have well over $500,000. But if you start the same $300 a month at 40, you end up with less than half of that. Same effort, totally different result, just because of when you started. That's the magic and the tragedy of compound interest. It works hardest for those who start early and punishes those who wait. But most middle-class people don't plan ahead because they assume I'll save more later when the job pays better, later when the kids grow up, later when life calms down. Except later never really arrives because life always finds a way to replace every freed up dollar with a new expense. Imagine this. Tom is 30. He tells himself, I'll start investing once I buy a house. Then at 35, it's I'll start once I pay off the car. At 40, it's I'll start once the kids' school fees are done. By the time he finally starts at 45, he's already lost 20 years of growth. He's working harder, but his money never got the chance to work for him. Here's the truth. Your future self is counting on you because nobody else is coming to save you. Not your company, not Social Security, not some miracle investment. It's on you to build that safety net. And saving doesn't have to mean living miserably today. It means paying your future self first. Even a small percentage. It means automating investments so it happens without thought. It means understanding that the earlier you start, the less you'll have to worry later. So the mindset shift here is simple. Don't think of saving for old age as a someday task. Think of it as buying back your future freedom. Every dollar you invest today is one less day you'll have to work tomorrow. Because the biggest trap isn't running out of money, it's running out of time. Habit number 5, focusing on consumption instead of production. From the moment we're old enough to earn a paycheck, society trains us to spend. You work hard, you buy things, you reward yourself. That's the cycle. And every ad, every sale, every treat yourself post on social media keeps you stuck right there as a consumer. But here's the twist. Consumers keep the system running. Producers own the system. See, middle-class people are taught to ask, what can I buy with my money? The wealthy ask, what can I build with my money? One spends to feel rich. The other invests to stay rich. Think about it. When a new iPhone drops, millions of people line up to buy it. But someone somewhere is earning profits from every single one of those purchases. Most people spend money to use things. A few people create things to earn money. Let's make it real. Imagine Jake and Sarah both earn the same income. Jake spends $1,000 a month upgrading his lifestyle. New clothes, new gadgets, new subscriptions. Sarah spends that same $1,000 learning video editing, freelancing on weekends, and investing a portion into dividend stocks. A year later, Jake has memories and stuff that lose value. Sarah has skills and systems that create value. Same money. Completely different outcomes. This is what keeps so many people in the rat race. They think the goal is to earn more so they can spend more. But the real goal should be to earn more so you can produce more. Produce ideas, produce skills, produce assets. Because here's the truth. Your life doesn't change when you buy more things. It changes when you start building things. Now, I'm not saying you should never buy anything nice. Enjoy what you earn, but always ask yourself one question before you spend. Is this helping me grow or keeping me still? Every dollar has a job. It can either go out and disappear or go out and come back with friends. So here's the mindset shift. Move from being a consumer of everything to being a creator of something. Start small. Maybe it's a skill, a digital product, an investment, anything that can grow without you constantly feeding it. That's how the rich think. That's how they quietly step off the treadmill the rest of the world is running on. Because the truth is, if all your money does is buy things that lose value, you'll always have to keep earning it back. But if you use your money to create things that make money, you start flipping the entire game in your favor. Habit number 6, ignoring financial literacy. Most people spend 12 to 16 years in school learning everything except how money really works. You can solve algebra, recite history dates, maybe even quote Shakespeare, but nobody ever taught you how to manage debt, invest, or grow wealth. And that's not an accident. The system runs better when people stay financially obedient, not financially educated. Here's the truth. It's not the lack of money that keeps most people broke. It's the lack of understanding about money. Think about it. You could hand two people the same $10,000. One will turn it into $20,000. The other will have nothing left in 6 months. It's not luck. It's literacy. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa earns well, has a decent job, drives a nice car, looks financially stable, but she never really learned how compound interest works. She keeps her savings in a low interest account, ignores her 401k, and carries a balance on her credit card. She's working hard, but her money isn't. Every month she's running in place. Now look at Ben. Same income, same city, same lifestyle, but Ben learned the basics of money. How to invest, how to budget, how to avoid high interest debt. He's not smarter than Lisa, he's just financially literate. And that one difference compounds over time like rocket fuel. Financial literacy is not about being a finance geek or watching the stock market all day. It's about understanding a few key ideas: how money grows, how it loses value, how taxes work, and how to make your income serve your goals instead of someone else's. Because here's the thing: if you don't understand money, you'll always trade your time for it. But once you learn how money works, you can make it work for you. That's how people start escaping the rat race, not by luck, but by design. The good news, it's easier than ever to learn. There are podcasts, YouTube channels, books, even free courses that can teach you everything schools never did. You don't need a finance degree, you just need curiosity and consistency. So here's the mindset shift. Every time you make money, don't just ask, how much did I earn? Ask, what did I learn? Because knowledge compounds faster than any investment ever will. And once you start mastering how money works, something amazing happens. You stop fearing it. You stop chasing it. You start directing it. Habit number 7, doing what everyone else is doing. See, most people don't realize this, but the middle class runs on herd behavior. We copy what everyone else around us does. Same career path, same spending habits, same financial choices. Because it feels right. It feels normal. You see your friends buying houses, so you think it's time to buy one. Everyone's upgrading their car, so you feel like you should too. Everyone's investing in whatever is trending, right? So you jump in. But here's the truth. If you're doing what the majority is doing, you're probably getting the same results the majority has. And let's be honest, the majority isn't free. They're stressed, in debt, and trying to look successful while quietly feeling stuck. Doing what everyone else is doing gives you social approval, not financial progress. Let me give you an example. Jason and his coworkers all got raises within a month. Every single one of them upgraded their cars. It wasn't even discussed. It was just understood. We've earned it. Jason joined in too. Fast forward a year later, all of them have higher car payments, higher insurance costs, and zero savings. Everyone's broke together now, but at least they look good in traffic. That's the trap. Comfort in numbers. We assume that if everyone's doing it, it must be safe. But in money, safety in numbers is an illusion because most people aren't building wealth. They're maintaining appearances. The wealthy think in the opposite direction. When the crowd spends, they save. When the crowd follows trends, they look for fundamentals. When the crowd buys liabilities, they buy assets. It's like that saying, if you want results few people have, you have to do what few people are willing to do. So here's the mindset shift. Stop looking at what's normal and start asking what's effective. Don't follow the crowd, study it, learn from its mistakes. When your friends buy something new, ask yourself, would I still want that if nobody saw it? When everyone's doing the same thing, pause and think. Is this helping me move forward or just helping me fit in? Because the truth is, fitting in might make you feel safe today, but standing out is what makes you free tomorrow. So now you know the habits, the small, everyday patterns that quietly keep people stuck in the rat race. But knowing them isn't enough. The real change happens when you start acting on them. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just pick one habit that hit home for you today and start working on it, even if it's something small. Over time, those small steps are what separate financial freedom from financial struggle. If you found this video valuable, make sure to like it and subscribe. I make videos that help you think differently about money, build better habits, and move closer to real financial independence. And before you go, drop a comment below and tell me which of these habits you've seen in your own life, or maybe in people around you.